Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome to the 115th episode of the Take One Podcast. I am your host, August C. Jones, and we have a gang-packed show today. I'm going to be talking about new trailers that dropped, one of them being a trailer for a game. We're going to be talking about some movie news, about an upcoming sequel and an upcoming movie that not too many people know about, including myself, along with that. And then, what else? We're going to be talking about Captain Marvel, and then we're going to get into some movie reviews, or just reviews, because one of them is a review of a season of a show, and I'm going to name that kind of like combination. But anyway, I'm gonna get to it when I get to it. But first, before we get into the whole Captain Marvel thing, because that's gonna be the bread and butter of this podcast, we're gonna get into some movie news right off the bat. So Disney came out and they basically gave us the new poster to Maleficent 2, the new title, as well as a new release date. Now, prior to this, the release date for Maleficent 2, which now we know as Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, it was supposed to come out May 29th, 2020, but they pushed it up, and now it's coming out this year, October 18th, 2019. And I don't really know how to feel about this. I need to catch up. I haven't seen the original Maleficent, but I've heard through several, reviews that it's not that good of a movie. But at the same time, it did gangbusters at the box office with domestic and worldwide and everything. Which domestically, it did 241 million, worldwide 758 million, and that shit is like crazy to me. Obviously there's a lot of people, a lot of fans of it, enough. I mean, I ain't gonna say enough to warrant a second one, but the financial side of it is enough to warrant a second one. But it's crazy, and like the poster really don't show too much. It just shows Maleficent kind of like in somewhat more of a kind of dark silhouette type form. You see a little bit of her face or whatever, and you see she got wings in this movie. So I don't know how that all happened, but the title Mistress of Evil, I don't know if I say Mistress of Death or whatever, but Mistress of Evil, it can mean one of two things, because in the original Sleeping Beauty movie or whatever that Disney made, and I believe in the source material that Disney got that from and changed it around, and Disney-fied it or whatever, she is just a villain. And in Maleficent in the movie, she is a misunderstood good person. She's turned evil through a certain action that happened in the movie, and that's why they kind of look at her as like being evil, but she's not. She is just kind of like I guess you could say, an anti-hero in a sense. But basically, that's where it all stems from. So we could take the title of this actually being that maybe she turns actually bad in this movie, or could be referring to another enemy that she has to stop in this movie. And if so, then they're totally flipping the whole aspect of Sleeping Beauty and what we know of Maleficent, everything that goes along with it. You're flipping it all upside down and changing everything, which in a sense could not be a bad thing. It can be a good thing, just how you handle it. But I think the bad thing that comes out of it is just with the people expectations of it. If you're a fan of the old Sleeping Beauty and you love that, just the story and everything else, and you love her as the villain in there and how she was, you probably wasn't a fan of the first Maleficent film. And I don't see if they continue on with that misunderstood good guy, and in this movie, she ends up becoming still being the good guy, and she's stopping it I guess you could say stopping evil in this film. Something that's like on par with like her power or whatever. I don't see a lot of people really gathering behind it, like especially if you are a big fan of the, original, story or whatnot. But I mean, it goes without, it could go either way. She actually could become evil or whatever, because Elle Fanning is coming back as Princess Aurora in this movie. So we're gonna have her again, and so I mean they can go either way. Like I said, they can go either way. And this will be, I believe, this will be the fourth live adaptation. Well, you can't really count Lion King as a live adaptation, but the first remake, well, the fourth remake this year that Disney will be putting out, being behind Dumbo, Lion King, and Aladdin, and then you're gonna have Maleficent. And Disney this year, I mean, everybody has been talking about it. If you are just a person that keeps track of this, a movie fan that look at, all these movies and everything when it comes down to it, it's like you kind of, you're noticing that Disney is doing that thing. I mean, they're going to be the highest, even just before this year hit, looking at all the movies that Disney is dropping, you see all of the money that Disney is going to get this year, just without seeing a trailer or anything. Some of we saw trailers too, but you just kind of know. You have live adaptations and just remakes of movies that people love in the past. I mean, just recently, like we were just talking about, Maleficent, Mistress of Evil is coming out. More than likely, it may not be another $1 billion movie, or it may not be a $1 billion movie, but it's going to do numbers, especially if all the fans of the first one come back. But then you have Lion King, which is a certified $1 billion movie. I don't care what anybody say. Then you got Aladdin that can do really good if it ends up being really good. Dumbo, if that's really good, it's going to bring numbers. Then you get all the off things that's not even just plain Disney. You got, I think it's some Pixar movies coming out this year. I don't have the list in front of me, but just looking at the off kind of brand of Disney, you got the Avengers Endgame. You got Captain Marvel coming out this week. You got Spider-Man Far From Home coming out. You got Star Wars. You have a just a gang of movies coming out of the Disney machine that is going to make so much money. And then Maleficent is only going to add to it. So, I mean, Disney is this is the year of Disney, I guess you could say. Unless another movie studio produces some crazy amounts of, just produces some movies that make crazy amounts of money, Disney has it in the bag. Even before the year has started, Disney had it in the bag. All they got to do is just sit back, smoke some cigars, drink some, beers, and just celebrate now. I mean, and it's crazy because even if a lot of these movies are bad, they're still going to make a crazy amount of money, and Maleficent is one of them. Now, this could go either way because there are a lot of movies, even like movies that have dropped this year where they've had, the success of the first movie come out and, just do crazy numbers and just success critically and fans, alike. And then the second one comes out and don't do as good or is not as hard hitting as the first one. Seeing with like what I talked about before with the Lego movie as well as Happy Death Day. Both of them not hitting as hard as the first, films. And Maleficent could probably be that same way. Or it could probably end up succeeding, exceeding the first film. Not only with the fans of that said property, but even fans that didn't like the first one may go into the second one like, yo, this was a good film. This is what the first one should have been. And, it probably could do something like that. But we don't know. It's either or. But will it, will it do good opening weekend? Because the first Maleficent movie did $69.4 million its opening weekend. So, I mean, will it top that? Will it not? We don't know. We'll have to see it. We haven't even got a trailer. All we got is a new release date, the title, and poster. Y'all guys can go check it out. But, I mean, I don't know. Like, I haven't seen the first ones to, warrant some type of excitement for the second one. But, hey, I mean, it is what it is. But, yeah, so, and just also to add, the Rotten Tomatoes score for, Rotten Tomatoes score and Metacritic for the Maleficent, the first film, was 54% on Rotten Tomatoes, and Metacritic is 56%. So, I mean, it didn't do good as far as, critics, like I said, but, hey, I mean, it is what it is. But, jumping off of that into the next thing, which is Morbius, which is a Marvel property owned by Sony, and that stuff is tricky because if you're not keen to, everything that's going on with the properties and what studio owns what, you'll think, oh, it's Marvel, so Marvel owns it all. But it's the difference between like the comic books and just the live action TV movie rights and stuff like that. Like, rights to different things are sometimes licensed to other companies, to where Marvel itself can't make movies or TV shows about said, characters, because certain other studios own the rights to that. And Morbius being one, and its own, the live action movie rights are owned by Sony, as well as a lot of the other characters that are connected to Spider-Man and everything else. And it's just tricky. Spider-Man is being like shared with the MCU, so they're able to throw it in the MCU or whatever, but it's still Sony's property. As far as like the live action. But in any case, so Morbius is part of Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery, which is a band of villains that Spider-Man has taken down or encountered. And Jared Leto, you all might know him more recently, besides, Blade Runner 2020, what is it, 2049, 2029? I forgot the name, but the latest Blade Runner movie, him playing a villain. But more than likely, he's more known now for the role of Joker in a Suicide Squad movie. And he has came into the Marvel spectrum, the Marvel universe, and he has taken on Morbius, the living vampire. And I don't really know too much about Morbius, so I can't really speak on how he is in the comic books to give you some like knowledge and spit that knowledge. But basically, we got our first pick of them shooting the film, because they're shooting the film right now. And basically, Jared Leto put it up in his tweet saying that they're down with, they did the first week. They're done with the whole first week, 11 more weeks to go. So, yeah, they just started shooting, so now they're about to go ahead and get into it or whatnot. And Daniel Espinosa, he is set to direct. And just to let you guys know that this movie is connected to Venom. As far as I know, it's connected to Venom. And this is just Sony's Marvel universe and everything that they're doing. Because Venom was the first movie, then we got Morbius, and there's talks about other ones, but we all know for sure, more than likely, a Venom Part 2 is coming out. But this is just a sneak peek of what we have to expect with Morbius. It wasn't a like full-on makeup costume type of pick for Morbius, so we can get like a really good view of it. But it was just with the clapper just kind of blocking majority of Jared Leto's face, so all you can see is his eyes looking at the camera. Or was he looking at the camera? But all you can see is his eyes, and that's basically what the pic just shows. So it was just like a little tease, a little snippet of what we can see, as far as what they're doing so far, which is not really that much. But I'm very curious to see what else they have to offer, or what they have to show as far as this character, with me being a person that I like comic book movies and everything else, but I don't read comic books. So will it get me on board? And if so, will it get a person that doesn't really like these movies particularly? Will it get them those type of people on board? But we have yet to see. But yeah, I mean, that's really all I'll say about it. I really wasn't too much to say about the photo. Really didn't have too much to offer. But hey, just to let us know that this film is being made and expected sometime next year. So there you go. But with that ends movie news. So let's go ahead and jump into the next segment, which is trailer reviews. Now, we have two trailers, one of them being a game trailer, as I said before. But before we get to that one, we're going to get into the second Brightburn trailer. For those who haven't heard of Brightburn or haven't seen the trailer to it, this movie looks crazy. So, I don't know if you guys seen Suicide Squad, but Amanda Waller, she said something in there in the movie where it's like, what if Superman decided to rip the top off the White House and grab the president and something like that, and they need a squad to defend it, which that's a whole nother can of worms. But just the notion of maybe a Superman going bad. Well, Brightburn shows us what will happen if Superman went bad. Even though we got it in the comic books, but live action, this is what happened when Superman goes bad. The first trailer, it basically just follows the same story. An alien ship crash, or alien pod crashes to Earth, and a woman, a wife and husband finds it. They're farmers or whatever. They find it. It's a child inside that looks human and everything else. And so they basically adopt the child, raise it as its own and everything else. And then come to find out that this child has extraordinary gifts. But unlike Superman, not using it for good, he uses it for bad. And that's basically this trailer really touches on it. The first trailer does it, but if you haven't seen the trailer, go check it out. But it looks incredibly amazing. This movie looks like it's gonna be a Quiet Place type film, where I can see a lot of people really wanting to go see it. I feel like it's gonna have a lot of popularity, especially if it is really good. If it is really good, and it shows in the trailer the slow progression into evil. I mean, it does it in the first trailer or whatever, but this one shows a little bit more scenes and everything else revolving around this kid, and little subtle small things that he does that are really effective when he, I believe, crushes a girl's like hand as she's trying to help him up from being bullied. And he kind of like just, I don't know, he shows really no emotion or whatever when it comes to it. And it's crazy, and it shows more of the damage that he's caused, and him discovering his power, and him just doing things because I guess you could say it's encoded in his DNA, and that's just the type of like being he is, or that he comes from, like his civilization. And you could tell in this trailer that it is a straight horror film. The thing that runs through my mind is like, how are they going to stop him? This is like stopping Superman. Like, if he has some of the same powers, which it kind of seems like it, because as he's drilling through the door when a woman is waiting, trying to hide from him, it's like he's burning through the door. So you could tell that he kind of has the eye, laser vision. I mean, is he invulnerable? If you shoot him, do the bullets bounce off? And if so, how do you stop him? How is this movie gonna play out? That's what's playing in my mind, because you can see like Superman, a story like that, and then just get another villain, or just put him in a situation to where he has to use his power or his smarts and wits to try and get out and defeat this villain. But when Superman becomes the villain, it's like we don't have another opposing force of that same, strength, or just, what he can do. So how do we bring him down? So that's just like what I'm waiting to see about this movie. Like, how does it all end? And it's just, man, it looks crazy. It looks bananas, especially the end of the trailer in the kitchen scene where he's flying through the kitchen like back and forth, and his mom is just like, or his foster mom, adoptive mom, whatever you want to call it, she like is hiding underneath the table and just screaming, and he just and then she looks out the window and sees him just floating there, and he has this costume where it's like it's a cape attached to this mask where all you can see is the red glowing eyes, and like the mask is red and everything else, and he leaves all these symbols around. So yeah, I don't know, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it had one of those type of like narratives as like BVS or BBZ, where like if you guys are familiar with Goku, he has a kind of similar like birth or story as to Superman, but him being sent off the planet in one form of the story, because it's been kind of changed a little bit, but certain certain Saiyans were sent to certain planets to take it over, because they have tails where they can become apes. And so they'll send it to a planet to get found by like the, people there, and then they'll become an ape and just destroy the whole planet, blah, 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 because Saiyans are a race of warriors that just kind of like Vikings or whatnot. And I wouldn't be surprised if they went that route with this, like where he was sent to Earth literally to do what he's doing in the movie. So, I mean, I don't know. I truly don't know. I'm very intrigued of where this story is going to go, what type of like stuff they're gonna find out about him, what's gonna be discovered about this kid, and just how this story is just gonna progress. I don't know, but I am excited. This trailer was awesome. I really, 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 really liked it, and I cannot wait to see this movie. It got me a little bit more excited to see it than I was before. And there you have it. And so, jumping into the next trailer, we have the first real official trailer to MK11, Mortal Kombat 11, and it's one of those theatrical trailers where it show a lot of the cutscenes of the game, and man, this trailer was fucking awesome. Just really just awesome. It got me excited. It got me excited like watching the trailer to like a Marvel movie like Endgame or something like that. It's just an Avengers trailer because it showed a lot of good scenes. Like, I don't know if this game is gonna be good. I'm really contemplating or in pre-ordering so I can get Shao Kahn. I'm not a game player like that, but I am really contemplating on buying this game because it looks crazy. In the trailer, it shows more of the story of what the objective is. So we got Chronica, who's trying to bring back balance, who's trying to take down the Raiden and everything else. So she's like bringing back some of the people from the past and combining with people from the present to try and take down Raiden and his allegiance and everything else. So it's kind of like Chronica and her, army or her alliance versus Raiden and his alliance, because you can see in the trailer that he's teaming up with Kotal Khan. So it's kind of like a weird combination, a weird kind of like alliance. And up in the trailer, you can see she brings back some people from the past, and it's not even really just people from the dead. She brings them back from the past, like she brings Liu Kang, Kung Lao. She brings back. I'm guessing old Raiden, because we see Raiden as like him not, I believe is, what is it, red? He's in red electricity around him now with the Raiden that we have, but we see another Raiden up in there that has the blue electricity, so maybe she brings him back, but we don't know. We see that she brings back Shao Kahn, I forgot who else, what is it, Scarlet, Baraka, Aaron Black, and even Kano, the old Kano. He doesn't have hair. He has a bald head like in the first Mortal Kombat. You see that she brings him back. And this is all the one I'm guessing because it shows like them walking out of like this like sandstorm or whatever. And you could tell, I guess, Jiris brings them out or whatever. So I don't know everything going on. But this is what I got from the trailer. But it looks pretty cool. It looks pretty cool. Shao Kahn, he's like one of those villains. I think he's going to play a major role, as well as Liu Kang and Katana as like the evil Liu Kang and Katana. Seem like they're teaming up with like with Chronica on completing this mission. And it looks crazy. You don't see too much from Liu Kang and Katana as far as like fighting within the story. The majority of the time that you see them in the trailer, they're with Chronica, so they're more than likely just send these armies out and then go. But as you can see, like Shao Kahn, I guess like it's alluding that he has an army of just creatures that are just coming out, and they look massive and crazy, just like these like massive creatures and everything else. And I'm just like, I'm looking at it as like what they presented in the trailer is like a movie. I want to play this game. I want to see how this story pans out. I'm not a huge gamer, but this has got me excited. I have been keeping an eye on just people's speculations on as they're like announcing like this character this week, that character that week. I have been keeping track of that. It's like, I don't know, like this game has stood out more than any other game, more than the other Mortal Kombats to me, even like Mortal Kombat 10. And I've been keeping an eye on this, like just truly, just really. I mean, because I don't know, like this game, after seeing this trailer, it got me way more excited. It has an epicness to it, a movie like epicness. That's what I wrote down in my notes. and that's what it gave. That's really what it gave. And then the music that accompanies it, it goes along with it. I don't know. I like it. I can feel like a lot of people are like, oh yeah, the music, it takes me out of the trailer, blah blah. We could do without the music, but I feel like the music was a good accompaniment. Now, could they have found a better song that better suits it? Yeah, but what they picked for it fits it like a glove. It fits it really good. And one of the questions I asked is like, well, just kind of like when I was watching the trailer, is that when Chronica is talking to Shao Kahn about his army, you can see behind her there is Juris, as well as there is a woman who is, basically covered up with like a hood and, just like all white type of like monk type gown or whatever the heck. And I don't know, like in one scene, I guess you can kind of see it. She has like one of the face masks like the ninjas have. So I'm guessing it may be Frost or maybe another character or just maybe a new character. I don't know. But overall, this trailer looks amazing. It looks like they're doing something really good. You got Johnny Cage meeting an older older version of himself that wants to like see some jetpacks because it is the future to this old incarnation of Johnny Cage. And I don't know, I'm really excited. I'm really excited to see this to play this game. And man, yeah, so but that's all I gotta say about it. It really just took me for a loop. And so with that ends trailer review. So let's go ahead and jump into the meat and potatoes of this podcast, which is talking Captain Marvel. Now, for those who are constantly seeing stuff like, oh, there's a movie coming out Friday, just remember, movies come out Thursday. They don't come out like to where you can see them all day Thursday. Like the earliest shows may be a special early screening, maybe at like 6, but they usually start at like 7 and whatever. So Captain Marvel comes out tomorrow, and I wanted to talk some about that and give my thoughts on certain things that's like been surrounding it. Now, one thing that I want to put out is that I am pissed. And it's not directly concerning everything that's revolving around Captain Marvel, but it's about something that I just want to talk real quick about. I don't get why people feel like they can put stuff out and spoil stuff for other people. I don't get that. I'm a person where I love surprises. I love, surprising people. I want to go into a movie that I've never seen before and not knowing anything integrable, or I don't know how you pronounce that, but anything that's like really important to the movie that may end up being a spoiler, like how it ends, who dies, why they die, why this happened, blah blah blah. Unless I really don't care. Like if it's 50 Shades of Grey, I don't care. Spoil the whole movie for me. I don't care. But if it's a movie that I'm really excited to see, I don't want to know anything about it that may ruin my experience of the movie. I'm the person that like to go see it or watch it for the first time and get my honest reaction on it, like, oh my gosh, like I didn't know this person was gonna be up in there and the blah blah blah. So with that said, I got spoiled. I'm not gonna spoil, because I'm not a person that if I see a movie, I don't like to spoil it for other people because I don't like being spoiled. So I'm not going to give out any details about what it is or whatever, but I was spoiled on Instagram just scrolling through it or whatever, and I forgot what what page I'm following or whatever, but it was a photo. I'm not going to give out any details what was in the photo, but I know it was something pertaining to a mid-credit scene. And how I know that? Trust me, I know that it is pertaining to one of the end credit scenes, which there are 2. I've heard that there are 2. But it was like about a second and a half before I realized what it was. Like I looked at it before I realized what it was, and I strolled past it. I didn't give it any more of a look, but with what the picture, what it had it pertaining, I knew that it was an end credit scene, and it was just something that I did not need to see, the end credit scene. I mean, I'm excited for Captain Marvel, but I'm really am more excited for the end credit scenes because I am ready for Endgame. And it was like, that's why I was like just really waiting for the end credit scenes. I was wanting to see it because I basically want to see it, what it has pertaining to, Endgame. And it's like I just did not need to see it. I really did not. And I just hate that people feel like they can go out and spoil it. Like, I truly hate when people spoil stuff like that. I just really hate it. I don't get what type of pleasure they get out of it. I just don't know. Do they get paid to do it? It's just really stupid that a person would do it, and it's just really ignorant. So I don't know, if you're one of those people that like to spoil stuff, I just don't know. I really don't get you. Yeah. So just to put that out there, that's just one of my pet peeves. I just truly hate that. But getting right into Captain Marvel, so there's a lot of good surrounding this movie. It's a lot of good surrounding this movie. And I'm happy to hear, because the one thing that I would hate to go into a movie expecting it to be bad, because that's telling me that I'm wasting my money. And even if I'm using my AMC Stubs A-list, I'm wasting my time watching a movie that is knowingly, before I see it, bad. So yeah, it's good to know that there's a lot of good surrounding this movie, even from the reviews and everything else, and that it is tracking domestically at 125 million, which that puts it above any solo like introduction film in the MCU as of to date. And I know a lot of people might want to count like Spider-Man or Black Panther, but I don't really count those two because, for one, Spider-Man has already been introduced way before he got into the MCU, so I don't really count, Spider-Man. And then Black Panther, I don't count either. You probably could, but I don't count it because of the simple fact that both him and Spider-Man were both introduced into Civil War. So, the Black Panther movie wasn't the first time that we saw Black Panther on the big screen, especially in like a huge part. It wasn't his movie, but he played a huge part in Civil War. So, I can't really count Black Panther. But the other solo type introduction films that I can count are Iron Man is at number 1 with 98.6 million. And then Guardians of the Galaxy is right after it with 94.3 million. Doctor Strange after that, surprisingly, is 85 million. Thor, the first Thor, takes right after that is 65.7 million. Captain America, the first Avenger, is right after it with 65 million. Literally not that far from it. And Ant-Man is the lowest one with 57.2 million. And these are the introduction films to characters or whatnot. And that's saying a lot, man. If this movie does get in between, I say 100 and 125 million, that's saying a lot where, what Marvel is doing. And I am happy to be one of those people that already got my tickets for tomorrow. I got a 10 o'clock showing because the showing that I was going to go with a couple guys that I work with, the 7 o'clock or the 7 whatever, the 7 o'clock showing that we was looking at for the theater that we were trying to go to ended up being almost sold out. It had a lot of the good seats just taken and everything else, so we had to go for a later show. And the 10 o'clock one was wide open. So yeah, and seeing all this stuff, I truly cannot wait. But as far as worldwide, over the weekend, and it's not just overall at the end of its theatrical runtime, but overall, it's said to reach almost or nearly 300 million. That's crazy. If it does, it's on the path to almost touching $1 billion. It really is. It's going to be on the path to almost touching $1 billion. If it succeed or exceed that, man, they're going to have a massive hit. They really are. I don't think it's not going to do what, Black Panther did, but it's going to be up there. I don't know. I'm see, after this weekend, I think I will have a better, sense of what, this movie could, do as far as, just like, will it touch 1 billion? But as of right now, I don't know if it will, but it may end up. It has caused a lot of controversy and just a lot of just stir, just good and bad. So it may end up. It may end up. I don't know. I truly don't know, but I am truly excited to it. Excited for it. But yeah, as far as the reviews, it's mostly positive reviews. I mean, you do have your bad reviews and everything else, but most of it is positive with a Rotten Tomatoes score of 83% right now, with a Metacritic score of 64%. And to me, that's exciting. That's truly, truly, truly exciting. Because of the simple fact, like I said, I want this movie to succeed. I want to go to the theater and have a great theater experience. We've seen it in IMAX. Who would want to go to a movie and spend? And I had to come out of money because I'm not seeing it at AMC, so I had to pay actual IMAX price. So who would want to go see a movie that may end up doing bad in IMAX, which you're almost paying like nearly $20 for it, to have a bad experience? So that's just exciting to me. And hopefully I get a real big kick out of this movie and find some major enjoyment and entertainment out of this movie, because I'm truly, truly excited. And like I said, it does have two end credit scenes, which I was told that they both are vital, that you will want to stick around for the mid and end credit scene. So there you have it. I'm always staying. Even with movies that aren't Marvel or DC or whatever, I'm always I don't know why I don't do it ahead of time, but I always remember it toward the end of the movie or at the end of the movie. But I always look up to see if a movie that's not a superhero Marvel DC movie, if it has an end credit scene or a mid credit scene or something like that. And so I end up just doing that. But Marvel has got us spoiled with this, and now end credit scenes are just kind of it's somewhat kind of expected during when you're seeing the movie. So jumping on for that, let's go ahead and get into the controversy of the whole Rotten Tomatoes thing and everything that goes around. Now, a lot of people might have just the story wrong when it comes to Rotten Tomatoes and why they did what they did. So I was listening to a podcast, wrestling podcast that I listen to, that I love, called Wrestling Soup, and I can see they didn't have a full understanding. I know a lot of people don't. So Rotten Tomatoes have changed things and what they do with their site. So at first, you will be able to just put, reviews up in there and, at any time. I believe it was at any time. And so leading into this movie, Rotten Tomatoes have found it was a lot of controversy. People kind of not really trying to like this because they feel like the Marvel has an agenda or something because it's a female-led superhero movie, and it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. But you got a lot of men or just a lot of people that's trying to just downrate this movie and just trying to bring it down and just make it seem like the most horrible thing in the world just because it's a female-led movie, or they don't like Brie Larson and how she is going about things and marketing this movie, just her being the main character or whatever, the lead or whatnot. And so basically what Rotten Tomatoes did is that they took down the option to where you can put your reviews ahead of time, unless you're a critic, to where it will be legit of your what your opinions and your review is. But as far as a fan or audience rating and everything else of the movie, of people who actually seen it, I believe that they're not going to release it until after the film gets released. So you won't be able to put your things up in there, and for good reason. It's not to be on the favor of a female-led movie. It's not to be on the favor of Disney or anything else. Disney isn't paying them off, but simply because you have people that like to spoil movies, like I talked about before I started talking about everything else from Captain Marvel. But you will also have trolls out there that want to do a movie harm simply because they don't like something about the movie before they even seen it. We've seen this happen with the whole Ghostbusters thing, with the female Ghostbusters movie back back in 2016 and everything else, and people just slamming the movie before they even saw it, trying to make fan pages and, you know, just to slam it and, you know, just go on all the websites and YouTube channels and that the trailer is playing on and just put the thumbs down and everything else, trying to have people not see it for some strange reason. And they did the same thing with Captain Marvel. It was a whole brigade of just stupid people who together collectively don't have a brain to work with, want to bring this movie down for no apparent reason, not even seeing the movie, saying that it's horrible, it's garbage, it's this and that, it's not good, don't go see this, whatever. And don't have a valid reason as to why. Why? Because you don't like Brie Larson? So, don't go see the movie. You know, you don't like that it's coming out again, or you just don't like Marvel. Okay, don't go see the movie. You know, you don't have to spend your time or money on this movie. You don't have to spend your time worrying about this movie. You know, after this movie's over, you're not going to have to worry about too much of the advertisement because a lot of it is going to die down. Maybe a week or two after, yeah. But then after that, you're not going to see too much about Captain Marvel. So you don't have that much time to, like, you know, you don't have that much, you know, time just that to where they're going to be putting out advertisements like crazy like they are now. Because a lot of people worked on this, a lot of money went into it. So a lot of people are trying to make that money back and get paid. And if you were a company, you would be trying to do the same thing. And it's just people... Trolls on the internet are trying to just downgrade this movie before they even see it, whether they like the trailer or not. They're just trying to downgrade it and not even give it a chance. And that's the reason why Rotten Tomatoes did what they did. I've heard that Metacritic has already done something similar, or they have more of a better grip on just the reviews that go on their site, as they actually gain or, you know, get the reviews from certain like fans and certain audiences that see the movie, that actually after they come out of actually seeing the movie, they get their, you know, their thoughts and everything on it. And so Rotten Tomatoes, it was just about this time, because I haven't really looked it up, but I guarantee you it was probably not the, besides this and Ghostbusters, probably one of the first films to, you know, go through this. And it was enough to where it was like, you know what, we're not going to stand for this. We're not going to have trolls that haven't even seen the movie dictate how well this movie looks to other people. Because, you know, if a movie not looking good or it's not getting a good rating and stuff, a lot of people just going to say, fuck it, you know, I'm not going to go see it. And it's a lot of people that might be like, you know what, I'll just, you know, decide for myself. But it's like, if the movie is really, really, really good, why deter people away from seeing it? You know, just because their opinions or their likes don't align with what you like, doesn't mean that you can tear them away from something that potentially may end up being one of the best movies they've ever seen in their life. Not saying that Captain Marvel will do that, but possibly for somebody. It may be in their top 5 greatest films of all time. You don't know. Why deter them away from that? If you don't like what I like, what another person likes, so what? Films are subjective. I mean, we're not all going to like the same film. My brother and I, we have totally different opinions on Suicide Squad. He doesn't love it. He likes it or whatever. And I simply hate the movie. I think the movie is crap. I feel like it is just horrible. I cringe at even the thought of watching it again. That's how bad it is for me. And anybody that asks me about it, I'm going to say, yeah, that movie is horrible. It's bad. He will look at it and find entertainment out of it. I'm not going to speak on every aspect that he like about it, because that's for him to say. But I mean, I have a totally different opinion than him and me, but we can still discuss movies. We can still like a movie, hate a movie, because there's movies that I love that he don't like or he may hate. You know, and it's just not even just me and him, but me and other people, you know. So just because someone don't like your opinion don't mean that you gotta spite them, that you gotta hate them, like, oh, you don't like what I like, F you, you know, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you know, just take it for where it is. Just take it for what it is, you know. Don't try and downgrade a movie, like the hard work that people have put on, from the director to the writer to even just the studio putting finances behind it, even the people that's working at catering, the people, the stunt doubles and everything else, the actors. Don't take that away from them. They worked hard on a movie for you to sit here and use all your time and energy in trying to make people not see something that they have worked their ass off on, while you just sit behind a computer desk just crapping on a movie and all that stuff. Like, it's just, no, just your time and energy can be spent on something totally different, something that benefits you as a person, rather than shitting on another person's creativity. Like, it's garbage. And that's just basically what it is. And like, even Zachary Levi had to pitch in with the whole Brie Larson thing. And this is just another controversy, not really concerning Rotten Tomatoes, but Brie Larson did come out with a statement. And she basically, I know a lot of people might have gotten a lot of stuff from it than what it actually she was trying to get across. But basically, she said that, like, maybe in like not the best way, where it's like, maybe she wants diversity in what reviewers or critics that go see her movies or these type of movies, because will feel that not an elderly, but a middle-aged white man may have like a certain type of like for certain movies, and may just end up putting this on the bad side because it doesn't fit what he likes. And even like John Campea, I listened to, and he even said that he wasn't offended by what she said because he understands it, and he agrees, saying that with her coming out and saying that a lot of the press screenings that he go to are filled with majority of white men. And all she's saying is that she wants more diversity, maybe women, other, ethnicities in these screenings, to where you can get another opinion besides not elderly. I keep about to say elderly white man. I don't know. Whenever I think of critic, an elderly white man is what comes up to mind. But I mean, just a middle-aged or just older white man who has maybe some like old school type of thinking when it comes to movies and women leading these big major tentpole movies and stuff. And I agree with her. I really agree. And like the backlash that she got with it, just for saying it, like I said, maybe she said it in the wrong way. Even, it's like Zachary Levi even had to come out, the guy who is playing DC's version of Captain Marvel. Well, not their version, but playing Shazam, who was previously known as Captain Marvel in the DC earlier, like way back when, and everything else. And even he had to come out and tell people, just chill, just quit. People just giving out lies and just bringing her down and saying that we're going to support Shazam and we're not going to support Captain Marvel. Like, that's cool, but do it for the right reasons. If you're not rocking with Captain Marvel, if you don't care for that, okay, don't go see it. Go see Shazam. Or vice versa. You're not rocking with Shazam, go see Captain Marvel. Or, whatever. If you rocking with both, go see both. If you're going to do something like that, do it for, legitimate reasons. If you don't care to see Captain Marvel because maybe you don't like Brie Larson as an actress, cool. Maybe you don't like the Captain Marvel character. Maybe you don't like Marvel. I mean, I guess you could say, and that's 50-50, kind of legitimate, kind of not legitimate reason. But hey, if it's something like that, cool, whatever. But if you don't like it because she's a woman and she's leading a superhero movie and blah, 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 it's like, come on, get over yourself. Like, really, man. I don't know. It's just crazy of how much people just want to just hate on the movie. It just back off, just back off. And just give it credit, just whatever. And it's like, it's saying something when the opposing side, I guess you could say the competition, DC, a person that's working for DC, that's playing the character under the DC banner, is coming out and defending a person that's under the Marvel banner. It's telling y'all to cool it, just chill. That's gotta be saying something. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Son, or would that go right with this? I don't know. But, when you got your enemy, or, I put in air quotes, enemy defending you against other people, it's like, that's saying something. That really is. But, I mean, that's basically all of what it is. She wasn't causing no harm. She wasn't, being a feminist and all men are evil and blah, blah, blah. She just wants diversity. Maybe she could have said it better. Hey, that's just how she came out. That's just how she feels. But when it comes down to it, I agree with her. Have more diversity, have more blacks, have more Hispanics, have more, Indian, Asian or whatever, different people with different type of points of view, maybe different genders, whatever. Just have it to where it's like you can go off of that, and then the world would be a whole better place than what it is now. But yeah, but that's really all I gotta say about the whole Captain Marvel thing. Like, through it all, I am truly excited to see this movie. I'm very, very excited to see this movie. I have a little bit over a day before I actually can see this film, and I am really, really, really ready to see this film. And I don't know what you guys think, but yeah, this is a movie I cannot wait to go ahead and see what they have in store. But in any case, that ends that. So let's jump into the next segment, which is podcast reviews. Now, it's not all movie reviews because I am simply calling these type of movies blended together because they kind of have like the same kind of narrative, but it's called Revenge is a Dish Best Served Cold. And you will get exactly what I'm saying because I will be reviewing Cold Pursuit as well as The Punisher, Netflix The Punisher Season 2. So get into Cold Pursuit. Cold Pursuit is a movie about Liam Neeson, and he plays a character. Well, it's not about Liam Neeson, but he plays a character who simply, his son ends up getting murdered, and he is looking for revenge in a cold type of manner. And so revolving around this movie, there was a lot of controversy through like stuff that Liam Neeson had said pertaining to like a situation that he was in, that his character was going through or whatever. I'm not going to get into that because I'm going to actually put it to this podcast in the description of my thoughts on that. But just getting into the thing about this movie, I went into it just expecting to come out really liking it, and I got the opposite once I left the theater. So the best things about this movie was the concept. It was simple. It's one of those simple concepts to where you can go anywhere with it. Just depending on how it's executed is just the main thing about it. But I love the concept, and like a lot of the fighting scenes, I loved it. I really did love it. It was actually pretty cool and engaging. It wasn't anything like Taken or anything like that, but it was actually pretty fulfilling. And some of the murders or whatever that happened up in the movie. But really, that's simply all that I liked about this movie. Because this movie was just riddled with a lot of just bad stuff. So, just starting off with the characters. Main character with Liam Neeson, he was just so bland. And there was barely any character development. He had no arc. He was the same person he was in the beginning of the film as the last. Wasn't anything different. It was just, and it was just like he really had, and like I said, he was so bland to the point where it was two things that happened up in the movie. Is one of them I'm not going to give away because it happened, it's not delivered in the trailer. But his son, the other one is that his son dies, and just his reaction to it wasn't the type of reaction that you would think a person in real life would react to it. I know certain people react certain ways, but it's like he has somewhat of a reaction, but then it all goes away throughout the film, and he just doesn't really have any emotion from it after that, and it's just like, I don't know, it was just garbage. The villain had more, he was like a little charismatic. He was, he was a villain. That's basically what it is. He was just a villain. And you can tell just by just the first introduction of his character, because he acts like a douche all throughout the film. And it's like your first impression, your first thought is like, yep, he's the bad guy. And that's exactly what you get when you first meet him. There was nothing really more to him besides he was a bad guy. He had certain things in his life going on, but it was like he was just a bad guy. A douchey bad guy, an asshole, but the bad guy nonetheless. And basically, oh my God, like, there was really no type of depth into any of the characters. Really no depth. The son, the Liam Neeson's character's son that dies up in there is like literally you get no time with him to feel like the impact of his death. It's like it just happens and then it's whatever, and like literally, not really giving out any spoilers, but he's in 4 scenes of the movie. 2 of them while he's alive and 2 of them while he's dead. There's really nothing more to the character, so where you kind of feel a little bit for the son, but you kind of feel more for the main character who has to deal with the loss. And it really affects the kind of like what we feel out of this movie. And this movie did feel rushed. Matter of fact, it didn't feel rushed. It was rushed. From like certain things that happened, like from the beginning with the time spent with his family, to the death of his son, to the mourning, to him starting to get revenge. All of it happens within a 10-minute span in the entire runtime of the movie. And it's just, it happens so fast. And even when he's getting revenge with, it's rushed. As there is no prior knowledge as to him being able to know how to take down like these men with guns single-handedly as an ordinary average guy. He just does it without any like he does it he does it effortlessly. And he's not only taking them down single-handedly, he does it with just crazy ease and barely any harm done to him. And it's really just unbelievable. Like, it's really like, you got these trained dudes with guns and he just bam, 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 bam. And then it's over. It's like, damn, like, did they even give you, like, why are these men being hired by the bad guy if a guy that works an ordinary job can just take them down like that? Like, are they backup? Like, why you got these guys surrounding you? Like, they really no help. And then there's subplots to this movie that just begin and lead to nowhere. And there's a certain subplots to where it has to do with like a character on the bad side and another character, and it happens and then it's resolved. I guess you could say resolved or whatever. I mean, it's done real quick to where it's like, that really wasn't necessary. And then there was another one that happens all throughout the movie that has no major impact in the movie itself. And it's like, what the hell? I don't know. It's just, why? And the jokes were like hit or miss. Some of them were cool, but majority of them was just kind of like, no. I don't know. It was just, I like, by the time certain jokes hit, I was just out of the movie, just completely out of it because of just the unrealistic nature of characters and events that happen within the movie. And just to go on with the characters, like, even some of the other characters just have unrealistic reactions to certain situations. And that's just to add, because that's just something I kind of forgot to even add to the characters. But it's not even just those characters. It's just, man, it was all over the place. But just in conclusion, this movie it has boring characters with no interest to offer, with nothing interesting to offer. And it's rushed. The humor is, and it just really don't have anything truly to offer in the overall scope of the film. And I was just truly disappointed by what it delivered to us. Me expecting not, over expecting a lot, but just expecting to be entertained, and I just simply wasn't. I was ready to go. I give this movie a 4. It wasn't like the worst thing I've seen this year, but it is one of the worst things that I've seen this year, and I just was like really, really disappointed. But hey, I mean, that's the way the cookie crumbles. But with that said, let's jump into the last review of this segment. which is The Punisher, or Netflix's The Punisher Season 1. I will get on Season 2. I just have not watched it yet because I'm trying to get other shows out or whatever. But yeah, so The Punisher was kind of like a weird show because, as anybody that knows me know, that I rock the Punisher skull and a lot of my clothing and everything else. And when I first started watching this, when it first came out, I really was bored by it and I really didn't care for it. So I decided to give it another chance recently, and I ended up kind of like liking it. I didn't love the show. I really didn't love the season or whatever. Like I said, I haven't seen season 2 yet, but I really didn't love it, but I really did like it. I really did like it. It does a lot for this show. So it's basically, it stars John Bernthal, and he plays Frank Castle, aka the Punisher, in which his family is murdered because of loose ends that need to be tied during a mission that he did while he was in service as a Marine. And so his family ends up getting murdered when they was going after him, and he ended up surviving it. So now he's going after the people who did him wrong, and he ends up meeting up with a guy named Micro, who ends up teaming up with to take down the guys because Micro has a vendetta to settle as well. And this show, it does a lot. It has a lot of goodness to it. It's a very slow show, but it has a lot to offer. This movie, it touches on a really, really sensitive subject like PTSD. And one of the characters, I guess you could say one of the villains of the show, deals with it and just how he comes back from overseas. But he's been so immune to war, or he's been so consumed in just war is what he knows, is that's basically what he wants to do. He wants to be in war. He wants to fight. He wants to do this. That him going back to a regular life and just just living and just having a job and stuff just doesn't appeal to him like killing people. And just how he goes about day to day coming back, and then just his arc from the beginning to like just where his arc ends it's like, yeah, man, it's something truly to be looked at when it comes to like people in war. I haven't been unfortunate to have to deal with that or know anybody that dealt with that, but I can see that it is a major thing that a lot of people are dealing with that have been in war and everything else. That is something that needs to be taken more serious. And it not even just with that character, but even with Frank Castle, and just kind of like the stuff that he did across seas just kind of like haunts him, as well as the other people that he know. And there is like a session where one of his friends is holding up where he's talking with like people who come back from war and just the stuff that they're dealing with, like physically and just mentally and everything else, and just trying to heal and get better. And it really does touches on that. It's a lot of good acting up in there. John Bernthal does a great job as the Punisher and just conveying his emotion in the type of way that he does. And everybody that acted up in this show does a really, 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 really good job. So there's really no bad points in this. It was a good story. Like I said, it's just simply about revenge. How everything escalates from just what they find out all the way to just how it ends. It's like it was a really good story, and how it played out. It was very dramatic and emotional through some of the characters and certain things that he dealt with. Frank Castle, him dealing with the loss of his family, he thinks about it all throughout the season. It's like he has dreams of him and his wife. He has dreams of his kids, visions, and of all that stuff. It's still affecting him today. And no matter how much revenge he get, he's still haunted by it because he's lost the people that he loved, his wife and kids. And that's something that he will never get back. So he will never be the same person that he was before. He's just more of the person that he was across seas, and that's what people don't want to deal with. And it shows that the Punisher isn't invincible. He doesn't go into these fights where he's just bam, 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 bam. I got a cut on my face like Thanos, and then but I just kicked everybody's ass. He's then came close to death in this show several times through fights, gunfights, and just regular melee type fights that he's been had, and it shows that he's not invincible. Like, he then got messed up. He's not invulnerable. This dude, he is a human, and he's got messed up, but he's been messed up a whole lot of people as well. I could say the kind of like bad things about this show is that it is slow. It does have a lot of slow points and stuff like that. It does have a lot of like just deadness to it that I could feel like a lot of people may not really want to sit through or whatever, because that's what I experienced. I thought it was going to be all out action, so when I get kind of like what the tone of it was and what to expect, I enjoyed it a little bit better upon my second viewing all the way through. But I could say that's really kind of like the bad thing about it that I could see from the show. In conclusion, it's a really good show, especially if you like these type of shows, or Marvel and everything else. It's a really good show. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out, the first season. And yeah, I do recommend it. I didn't love it like I thought I would prior to the first season even dropping, but hey, I really did like it and I appreciated it. And I give like show ratings out of 5. So just to let you guys know, I give it a 3.5 out of 5. I didn't think it was like really, really bad. I didn't think it was great, but I thought it was okay, good enough to recommend. And that's exactly what I'm doing. And that wraps up podcast reviews, as well as it wraps up this whole podcast. I'd like to thank you guys for listening. And I didn't do too bad. I thought it was going to go crazy long than what I thought it was going to go. But I ended up doing really, really good with this. Just over an hour. But thank you guys for joining me. And my next podcast, I will be dropping Friday. I don't know exactly what I'm going to be talking about, because there's a lot of stuff that could be dropped from here and there. I don't know. I don't think that I'm going to do the Captain Marvel review on that podcast, but I know I'm going to do a whole bunch of other reviews on that podcast. But in any case, thank you guys for joining me for this long extended podcast. And hope to catch you guys next time. If you like it or whatever, hit the like button and all that stuff. Everything gonna be at the end of the video. And yeah, so that's it, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace out. Hey, before you guys leave, make sure you hit that like button as well as that subscribe button. And you see that little bell, make sure you hit that to turn on your notifications. That way you'll be notified for anything that appears on my channel. Hope to see you guys next time. Peace out.